Hi y'all, this is Larry at Deep South Texas. It's the middle of January and it's time to make some sauerkraut. I've got 5 cabbages that are ready to go. That's more than I can eat all at once, so we're going to start our sauerkraut for the year. Now, sauerkraut's a pretty easy recipe. The only ingredients are cabbage and salt. And time. It takes some time to make sauerkraut, but cabbage and salt, that's it. Now, I'm going to use this cabbage slicer to slice up my cabbage, but they're a little bit too big to fit in there, so the first thing I got to do is probably cut these into quarters. So let's get one of these cut here. There we go. This is an early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. And cut it in quarters this way, I think. And then we need to cut out that core. There we go. Now I think I can put that in the slicer there, and that's going to work just fine. Let's get the rest of this core out of this one. All right. And that's done. Now, these are ready to slice up. So let's move on to that step with this first cabbage. Now this is an old-time cabbage slicer. It belonged to my wife's mother, and I've got a bowl here in the sink to catch the slices as they come off. And resting it on a couple wash towels so it doesn't move around so much. So let's get started and see how we do here. Okay, we've got our salt and our cabbage. Let's start mixing it up a little bit. Remember, we've had 2 pounds of cabbage that went in this crock first. So let's throw a little salt in there and mix it up a little bit. The salt will help draw out the moisture over time, and that's what we want. Okay, let's set the crock aside for a minute. Now, this bowl here had 5 pounds of cabbage in it, so we're going to put half of our salt. We're going to mix half of our salt with this cabbage. We're going to move it over to the big pan here to make it easier to mix. And Put some salt in there and mix that up. The salt helps those bacteria that will be fermenting this. So they like the salt, and they like it at a certain level. So the amount of salt you put in is kind of important. Now let's put the rest of this 5 pounds of cabbage in there. And add some more salt to that. And mix that up a little bit more. Now, I'm expecting all of this cabbage to fit in that crock, which is hard to believe at this point, but the salt, like I say, will draw out some of the moisture and wilt it down a little bit, and we want to fit all the cabbage in the crock, and we want liquid to be over the top of the cabbage, so that's the goal right now. All right. Now this bowl had a little over 1 pound of cabbage in it. We'll get it in here. Add some salt to that. Get that mixed up. Then I'm going to put the rest of the salt in here in the crock. There we go. Mix that in a little bit more. Then to help it extract that water out of the cabbage, we got this pounder here, and we're going to keep adding cabbage and pounding it down. We might have to add a little bit of water before we're done. But this helps extract some of the water. And I think once we get some liquid in there, that'll even out that salt content a little bit better. Yeah, and I can already see it's all going to fit in this crock, which it looked like that was going to be an impossible job earlier on, but I think we're going to get it all in here, no problem. This is a 3-gallon crock, and let's get the rest in there. Okay, all of our cabbage and salt is now in the crock. And we just want to try to extract as much liquid out of the cabbage as we can. And we'll probably add some more liquid, and because we want to make sure that the cabbage is covered with liquid. Eventually, I'm pretty sure it would be with just the cabbage, but I want to get it all covered up today. So I'm going to add a little bit of water, and whatever weight of water I add, I'll add 2% salt to that as well. So keep that same ratio. Okay. I don't think it's going to take much water, but I'm going to add a little bit. All right, I added about 4 cups of water and about another 20 grams of salt. So the liquid is now just covering the cabbage. Now I'm going to put a plate over it that's about the same size as the crock, to try to hold that cabbage down under the water. And on top of that plate, I have a 1-gallon bag of water here, and I'm just going to put that on top of the plate to try to help seal that off and make sure all that cabbage stays under its salted water. And we're going to put this in a dark room, and we'll taste that brine in a couple weeks, but I think it'll be about 4 weeks till this sauerkraut is ready to jar up. So let me move it into the other room. And the cabbage is going to sit in this unused bathroom along with my cheese cave, probably for the next month. And we'll check on it every so often to make sure we don't have any scum forming anywhere, and everything looks okay. But I fully expect this to take about a month before it's ready. And here is the crock of sauerkraut. It's looks to be doing well. I'm not seeing anything that shouldn't be in there. And it's been in there about 2.5 weeks now. Probably about another week to go. Well, our cabbage has been fermenting for 3.5 weeks. And it's time to check it, and hopefully we're going to can it up. So going back over the clips I had a clip that was talking about how much salt to put in, and for some reason that clip got lost. But it's you weigh your cabbage up after you got it shredded, and you take 2% of that and add 2% salt to that. So what I had was 10 pounds, 2.6 ounces, and that is 4,615 grams. And 2% of that was 92 grams. So I put in 92 grams of salt as I was mixing the cabbage in the crock. And I added a little water, I think about 4 cups of water, and weighed that and added 2% salt to that as well. So because I didn't think I had enough water in the cabbage. Anyway, it's been fermenting for 3.5 weeks. I think we want to open it up and try it, right? So I had a bag of water sitting on top. Let's get that moved out. And also a plate. And both the plate and the bag of water were there to force that cabbage to stay under the water. And so it's it looks pretty good. And here's what it looks like inside the crock. And there's a little bit of discoloration right along the edge. Not very bad, not very much, just where it was over the plate didn't quite cover it. So I'm going to scoop a little bit of that out before we start putting this in the jars. So here's what I removed. Some of it was just a little bit discolored, and we won't can that up. But the rest looks pretty good. Let's try our first taste. Yes, indeed. Tastes like sauerkraut. Okay, let's start the process of canning this. I have cans that have heated up on the stove. I have lids and rings that are heated right here. My canning funnel. Let's just get started. So here's our first jar. Let's see if we can do this without making a big mess, huh? Now, 10 pounds should produce, 10 pounds of cabbage should produce 5 quarts of sauerkraut. We're going to see how that does. I don't really want to pack it too tight. The last time I made it, I think I had it packed too tight. It turned out okay, but it was kind of tough getting it out of the jar. Okay, how does that look? That looks okay. Let's put a little bit of our sauerkraut's juice in there. Hopefully I have enough juice for all the sauerkraut I'm trying to can here today. And there's the first one. Now, normally when you're canning stuff, you put a little bit of salt in it to help preserve it, but there's plenty of salt in the sauerkraut already, so we won't have to add any of that. Let's just keep going till we get our 5 quarts filled up. All right, we ended up with 6 quarts of sauerkraut, so 1 extra. That's good. Now we run this debubbler down. Try to get all the bubbles out. It should come out fairly easily. Once that's done, I have a paper towel here that's Then moisten with vinegar. Clean off the top. Grab a lid and a ring. Get that finger tight. And we'll get that put in the water bath canner. Beautiful, beautiful. Get the rest of these done. Now we're going to water bath these for 25 minutes. So once it starts boiling, we'll start counting the time, and we'll do that for 25 minutes. And then they'll be ready for permanent storage. And there they are in my water bath canner, and they need to be covered by at least an inch of water, which they are. And now we just get them boiling and boil them for 25 minutes. And it won't be permanent storage, but it'll be a long time, multiple years. Well, 6 quarts of sauerkraut went into the water bath canner, and they came out last night and sat overnight, and it looks like they've all sealed. So now we've got 6 beautiful quarts of sauerkraut ready to go in the pantry. I couldn't be happier with the results. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.